In 1976, Rick Casman met Richard Boot Kingsman through a wanted lead guitarist ad in the Melody Maker. Both lived near Shepherd's Bush, West London. Rick rented a basement flat next door to the birthplace of The Who's Roger Daltrey. Rick and Boot formed a rock band called The End, and they started playing local bars. Old friend John Burns, who had produced Genesis and worked with the Rolling Stones, came down to rehearsals and was impressed enough to offer the band some recording time. With the addition of Paul Schofields on bass and Rod Johnson on the drums, the new lineup changed their name to Straight 8, after the local car showroom at the end of Rick's Road. Around 1980-1981, the band opened up for Queen every night for a month, playing stadiums throughout Europe and Berlin, from Rotterdam to Wembley Arena. And as the opening act for Queen, they can claim to be the first band to play at Birmingham's National Exhibition Centre. The reviews and reaction were great, and momentum was growing. RCA approached producer Martin Rushent, who had a #1 record with the Human League, to work on a new album with Straight 8, specifically designed to reach out to mainstream American audiences. They went into Rushent's private studio and emerged 3 months later with the album Straight to the Heart. The album integrated electronic sequence synths and drums and heavy rock guitars and vocals. However, following internal changes at RCA USA, the album never saw a US release. Despondent and weary, the band called it a day. Rick went on to forge a successful career as a composer for film and television. Book Kingsman continued to record and tour, as did Steve Sherry. But the Straight 8 journey was not over. In 2013, a party in Copenhagen, home of the bassist Steve Cherry, saw a reunion of Straight 8. It was so much fun that the boys decided to start working on a new collection of songs and self-produced a new record. Their past has made them wiser and stronger. All 3 original members, Rick, Steve, and Boot, are now back in the saddle, along with new additions, Christoph Beck on drums, and Vyv Hope Scott on keyboards. The entire back catalog is being remastered for full worldwide digital release, and an official biography with collectors' photographs and archive material will be available also. Watch out for the new YouTube channel and rare live performances, clips, and promo video material. The band also have new Facebook, Twitter, and Bandcamp websites with regular updates and clips from the new album. So it is with great pleasure and an honor that I introduce you to Rick Casman, lead singer for Straight 8 UK. This is Pat Stone, and I want to welcome everyone to In the Spotlight with Pat Stone. Today we're speaking with Rick Casman from the band called Straight 8 UK. How you doing, Rick?
I'm good, thank you, Patrick.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you too.
So, tell me a little bit about Straight 8 UK.
Okay, well, we originally formed the band in 1976 in London, England, and we were called Straight 8. And we were a kind of punky rock band.
Uh-huh.
And we started off doing lots and lots of the local clubs in London, like the Speakeasy and the Marquee. And we were discovered by Pete Townsend of The Who, and subsequently signed to his record label called Ill Pie Records in 1977.
I remember that year.
Really? I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't remember like the late 60s, but I remember 77.
It was a very hot year in London. I remember that. It was extremely hot. And it was the beginning of punk rock. So everybody suddenly cut their hair and took their jeans from being very wide and flared to being very skin tight.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that literally happened overnight.
Oh man, that's bringing back memories.
Yep, that certainly does.
So then you were signed to the label
Yep.
and you played. Did you ever get a chance to play with The Who?
We were planned to go on a world tour supporting The Who, and it got shelved because, unfortunately, Keith Moon passed away. And that happened about 3 or 4 weeks before the tour was due to take place. So there was a big gap before The Who started playing again, by which time we'd moved on.
Wow. I mean, that must have been a huge disappointment on many, many fronts. One is losing somebody like that.
Yeah.
And then the other is, not being able to work with them.
Absolutely. It was a pretty depressing period for the band because we were all ready to go. But that's sometimes the things that happen, and we carried on regardless.
And so what did you do after that?
We carried on doing the London circuit, and we did some touring up and down the UK with various bands, and we subsequently got signed to Transatlantic Records in London. And they released our second album, which was called Shuffle and Cut, in, I think, 1979.
Okay.
So the first album came out on the Eel Pie Pete Townsend label, and then we moved on to Transatlantic Records for the second album.
Okay. I understand you also have a connection to Queen.
Yeah, about the same time as the second album was released, we were lucky enough to go on a European tour supporting Queen. I think we did about 20 dates across Europe, and we were the first band to play the NEC in Birmingham, London, England, and we played Wembley Arena with Queen, and we played Berlin and Switzerland, France, Germany, all over Europe. It was very, very, very good.
And that was also around 79, 80?
79, 80, yeah. That was, 1980.
Wow. And that must have really been exciting times for you guys.
Yeah, that was a really, really good tour. It wasn't as long as we'd have liked, but it was a really good experience for us to be playing in massive stadiums, and we went down really well with the Queen audience, which was apparently quite rare. So
right, and I mean, Queen was already pretty big.
Queen were massive. Yeah, they were just promoting the Flash. They did the music to the film Flash Gordon, and it was called the Flash Tour. So they were very big at the time. Yeah.
Wow. So after the Queen tour, then what happened?
Well, again, we were hoping to go to America. Most of our fans seemed to like our music, were based in either Canada or America, and we were getting airplay right across the States, which was, again, apparently very unusual. We were getting West Coast, Mid and East Coast radio play, and we were, planning a tour of America, which, again, I'm afraid never happened. And we then decided to make our third album, which RCA Records in New York commissioned.
Okay.
And went on to do that album with a producer called Martin Russian, who just had a #1 with the Human League, Don't You Want Me Baby. So we started our third album, and in the music business, the third album is usually the make or break one, and in this case, I think it was our break one because I think we picked the wrong producer, and we were making an album with a lot of electronic gadgetry, which for a rock and roll band, 2 guitars, bass and drums didn't really make sense, but because it was Martin Russian, we kind of thought, yeah, okay, he must know what he's doing. We'll go, okay. So, we made the album, which I think now actually sounds great, but at the time, I think it was way ahead of its time, mixing electronic sampling and sequencing with rock music was pretty revolutionary at that point. So, now it stands up, but I think at the time it was a little bit too different.
Okay. So it didn't go as you guys expected.
No, because what happened was the guys in RCA New York that signed us all got the sack from the company. They left just as the album was finished, and the new guys came in and they basically shelved the album. They didn't like it. They didn't want it. So it never got released in the States. But the good news is it will be released in the States this year.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got the whole 3 albums being remastered and repackaged by a lovely company in England called Angel Air, and they've got distribution worldwide, so they will be coming out in the States in November. So we're really excited that finally people in America will be able to hear the 3rd album and hopefully, really get behind it.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool because it didn't get lost altogether.
No, it didn't. We there was a 35-year gap before us getting back together again, and we all have been in the music business and doing different things in different ways. But we got back together a couple of years ago at just someone's birthday party. We just got up and played, and it was so great that we thought, let's make one more record and do it, the way we'd like to do it, produce it ourselves and basically do it all ourselves. So that's what we've done.
Cool. Now, all this was taking place in around 1980, right?
Yeah.
So now, shortly after that 3rd album got sacked,
Yeah.
then you guys broke up?
Well, yeah, we didn't really break up. We kind of drifted up. We drifted apart. We basically just said, look, we're tired. We've done everything we could do. We thought we played thousands of gigs and we've, made 3 records. I think we should have a break and kind of go away and rethink. But it took 35 years to rethink.
Well, but everything was amicable. You all remained friends.
Yeah, there was absolutely no back. We never did the big band splitting up thing. I mean, it just drifted apart. We all stayed in touch. We all, we saw each other, and over the years we've always kept in touch. So no, there was no bad blood anywhere.
No, that's cool. I mean, that's great because I guess that's exactly what allowed 35 years later, for you guys to pick up where you left off.
Yeah, it's almost as if time had stood still, really. I mean, we're all a lot older and wiser, and I think the new recordings and the new songs show a much more mature band, but we've still got a lot of the stuff that we had in the beginning, which is great. So there is a chemistry there which you can't really pull apart.
Right. So now these songs that we're going to be sharing today, Danger and Never Give Up, are these 2 songs part of the old, or is these 2 songs the new?
These are the new. These are brand new songs. They were written about a year and a half ago, and we recorded the final versions the beginning of this year and mixed it in March at Rockfield Studios in Wales, which is a great little studio. So,
okay, we're going to play Danger first, right?
Great.
What's the name of everybody else in the band?
Okay, well, we've got Richard Kingsman is the lead guitarist. Stephen Cherry is the bass player, and Christoph Beck, not our original drummer. He's a new drummer. He's the drummer on the album, and Vyv Hope Scott is playing Hammond organ.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and have us a listen. Let's listen to this new song, Danger. Now, this song here, when is it going to be released, or has it already been released?
No, it's not been released. We're putting a limited edition album CD out on our own label in November this year, and it will be available for download, I think, early January next year. So, yeah.
Well, with no further ado, let's all have a listen. Here then is Straight 8 UK with Danger.